Hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Press one if y'all can hear me now. Damn. Because I was about to start dropping some real shit. Press one if you can hear me now. All right. So yeah, so all right, so let me go back through this a little bit quicker. So basically the videos I'm gonna comment on is BGS Igmore's video he just did, which is the rant he just did, which is a good video, great video. I agree with 95% of it, and I agree with it. The videos that Glenn and Cameron's been doing about, really going at MGTOW, basically going at a loser mindset and people just quitting. And then Jason Black's video with Jason Black talking about, the dating gurus, as well as the video he did about what it takes to be a man of means. These are going to be the videos I'm going to be commenting on. Why these videos? Because these in my opinion are really good videos to kind of come up at the beginning of the year. These are good January videos. People, having reflection, starting the first quarter off right, getting stuff off right, and kind of starting that in the the last 2 months of this year, because you go through the holiday season and everything just blanks, and then before you know it, it's January. But really thinking about that stuff now. These are all tough love commentary. This is commentary that if hit dogs holler, you need to ask why are you hollering. I agree for the most part with all the videos, as there's something that needs to be put out there. Do I agree with every little detail of every little thing? No, but that's not what the point is. Because the point of this stuff was mainly to make more declarations and just say straight to the point. This is what a winner is, this is what a loser is, rather than going through the details of the machinations of what this and this is. That's not really relevant to the conversation. That's you as the viewer to do, not them to need to do. So let's start with BGS's video. The reason why I wanted to comment on it is because BGS was referring, I guess, to Obsidian, and he was referring to kind of this diatribe about you got to pay your way and shit like that. And what was interesting with the video is he kind of revealed some things that a lot of dudes on the low kind of already thought when it comes to why it always seems like he kind of pseudo takes the side of like street dudes when we used to have those back and forth, educated brother versus street dudes commentary. And people used to say this behind the scenes, and he just confirmed what we already knew, which was he has a certain reverence for a certain type of black men. Now he explained it, and I understand why, and I understand where he's coming from. And he always felt this need to kind of defend dudes, I guess, that didn't have as much, or quote unquote weren't where they should be. Because he perceives that as black men just trying to say people are better men because they're in a stronger economic position. And I can understand that. I can understand why he would feel the need to do that. My thing is, in response to that, is it goes both ways. You have dudes that believe that they're better men because because they're more in tune with the streets. They actually think they're better men. And they think they're better men because a quote unquote certain type of females, because the way that they're fucking wired gasses them up to be better men. So really it's been a counter response, because when you look at the black community as of since the 80s going forward, men that are thinking black men have been the ones that have really been ostracized from what people could consider the center of gravity of the black community, because the center of gravity of the black community changed, where it wasn't about the best and brightest. It was main so who was real swag, just shit that doesn't matter when it comes to getting power, wealth, influence within even as a group. And you see that, like when you see that when you look at how much we buy black, how we relate to each other, in fact we're only really fucking with each other when we're fucking, you see all of that. And that's absolute. And really a lot of that shit started in the 80s. That shit was born out of the crack era. The mechanisms of it, the laws of it was in the 68, but actual the culture being burnt out really started in the 80s. And it is what it is. I'm just saying what it is. The point though is a lot of those guys, it was, now I'm not talking about Obsidian I'm taking out of this. I'm just talking about with those conversations when they were having. A lot of that was a response and a basically course correction to say, look, if you're not producing, it doesn't fucking matter why. The people that are producing for the community, and when I say producing, I'm not necessarily saying working for the white man. We know what we need. Whether that becomes protection, whatever's valuable from a group level, who is producing. There's certain things that street dudes can do that a lot of educated dudes may not want to do, with being on the ground and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, my argument has always been, and I'm not gonna make this all about that. My argument has always been, if street dudes are really better men, and that's not what the video is about. I want to make that clear. This is just what I'm commenting on. If street dudes are better men, then they quite frankly should need the other side. They should be able to build a community out on their own. Like, quite frankly, if they are better men. And that's not really, again, that's not what the main part of the video he was talking about. That just was what it was. But that was something that was more like a little bit past the halfway point of the video, and that's something that jumped out to me a lot, because that's something that we people behind it always said that's what the fuck is going on, and that's why he would side with them. And I'm glad to see that confirmation, because it seems like all this shit is coming out. I don't believe black men should step on any black men and say they're better than them. I think, and that's what he said. And I agree with that. I think part of the problem is you got a whole bunch of niggas that are operating on ego, and they're trying to compete with the females as a mechanism to facilitate their own fucking ego. Yeah, what's up? Appreciate that, Pharaoh. What's up, BMT? Their own ego. And I've said one of the core problems that black men have is they have an ego problem. I said that. And motherfuckers want to justify that shit, talk about being alpha, playing in sports. I don't give a fuck about any of that. At the end of the day, ego is a blind spot. And a lot of times you got dudes that are operating from ego from a codependent standpoint. Codependency, from an insecure standpoint. That's the difference between confidence and arrogance. Is really ego. Confidence is more of a foundational kind of thing, versus arrogance and ego is more of somebody's being gassed up. So what does this have to do with like Jason Black and Glenn and Cameron? Well, they put out videos basically kind of declaring what a winner is and what a loser. And then you have black men that would do that every once in a while. But I like the detail they go into it. Do I agree that, you got a lot of motherfuckers that are just quitting? No, I don't necessarily. I think that folks don't want to make shit racial. So they don't want to, talk about the entitlement, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, these are all videos you should check out, because I think you got a lot of truth in these videos. You got a lot of people really outlining what the fuck it really is in these videos. Not like all this, like they want to speak to diplomatically about certain things. And it really gives you a good anchor as to like where people stand and like where you stand. Because at the end of the day, you're either winning or you losing. People can come up with white supremacy. People can come up with whatever. That's why I like when BJ's put out the Elon Musk situation. Elon Musk didn't say, I'm in South Africa with all these Negroes or whatever, and then I can't make it happen. He made it happen. And that's part of him being a quote-unquote better man. Now, and he also made it very clear that he wasn't trying to give an out for females. That if women choose what they choose, they're accountable to that. So I give him credit for that. But also understand that there's a difference between like what Obsidian does, because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff Obsidian does is very self-serving for Obsidian. But there's a difference between that, and then there's a difference between motherfuckers saying that, your outcomes are predicated on what you choose. Yeah, you can't yeah, it's true that you can't control the cards that you're dealt, but you can control how you deal them. So at the end of the day, look, people have a right to fuck with whoever they want to fuck with for whatever reason they want to fuck with them. But what gets on my nerves, and what I'm quite frankly having a zero tolerance for, and that's coming from dudes and females, and that's why again I put up a lot of these videos and I mention those other dudes, because at the end of the day, the main thing that it all communicates is there's a zero tolerance for people's fucking excuses. At the end of the day, you are where you are because of the sum of decisions and the decisions and circumstances, but mainly decisions that you chose up to this point. And if you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. You either are going to do that or you're not going to do that. Sure, we can have a conversation about the who, what, where, when, why, and how we got here. And to a certain extent, that conversation is valid. But at the end of the day, moving forward, the question is, are you going to make a decision, or are you just going to just keep on saying the same shit over and over and over and over again? That's really what it comes down to. And wow, man, I'm buffering a lot. Damn. All right, anyway. Well, I won't make this too long. I'll do this video. I'll do a hangout on this shit because I ain't trying to be buffering. So anyway, with that being said, this is Edward signing out. Peace. You said you're not getting no buffering? Oh, okay. I'll probably do a hangout on this. But I'll finish this. Okay. Well, I'll say this. Look. At the end of the day, man, people, you are accountable to the decisions you make. You're accountable to the people that you listen to. You're fucking accountable to the people you choose to fuck with and engage in a relationship with, whether that's a partnership or whether that's a romantic relationship. And what gets on my fucking nerves, yeah, all right, Roseman, so it must be you. What gets on my nerves is you got all these motherfuckers crying and crying about shit that they did, this shit that they chose. You know, folks want to say, no, I can tell you right now, Roastmaster ain't got no Metro PZS connection. I can tell you that right now. But folks are out here pretty much, and mainly, you know, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about women, is they're mainly out here trying to give these reasons for decisions they consciously made. You know, utilities, whether it's slanging dick, whether it's money or whatever. And then what they're trying to do is sell what I call surviving stories as a mechanism to get dudes to kind of give them a pass. That's really essentially what it is. Give me a pass so I can still do the same shit because that shit ain't working for me, but I'm going to still do it. Now, going back to what's the point? The point is we put way too much energy as men into the stupid shit that women do. I mean, we really do. Part of really talking about what these chicks are doing is good to be aware of what they're doing, but ultimately, man, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, man, if these chicks ain't saying what the fuck you want to hear, you need to start slamming the fucking door in their face. You know, Nagon has a good saying, said, cut that ass back to the fat meat, to the meat that don't bleed. That shit's funny as hell, but it's true. Dudes need to start having, as soon as you hear some shit that you don't like from a chick, don't even engage with that bitch. It's no point in you trying to convince her, because you can't, because at that point you're arguing in emotions. You're arguing with emotions. And then when you're talking to dudes that want to try to carry water for that shit, understand that with the shit that they're doing is self-serving as well. And a big problem is we waste a lot of time rather than worrying about what needs to get done, to the point where the shit and shout out to Mr. Research, because he's talked a lot of, before they made those videos, he's been talking about this. So I'm not going to act like he's not in the conversation as well. But really, going into 2020, dudes we really need to start being like, look, the females that they got some sense, shout out to Cocaine, shout out to Naima, did they know how to talk like some fucking sense? All right, then it's cool. Motherfuckers that don't, they need to start getting shut up at the door. I don't give a fuck about what you want to talk about race. I don't give a fuck about no Hebrew Israelite shit. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna start, because I don't want to get into a situation where I gotta deal with a whole bunch of Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna start saying there's a whole bunch of fake Hebrew Israelites out here. A whole bunch of motherfuckers, females and males, that are claiming they're only claiming Hebrew Israelite as a mechanism to push their own bullshit agenda. And really, other Hebrew Israelites need to start calling that shit out. But they're fake Hebrew Israelites. These motherfuckers are Hebrew Israelites because they wanna basically try to control and legislate the sexual dating market, and they want to talk about what all these other motherfuckers are doing. Usually these motherfuckers are broke. Usually these motherfuckers ain't shit. And I know the difference because I know enough Hebrew Israelites, so I know how the ones that actually got some money behind them and got some success behind them. And I know the niggified Hebrew Israelite shit, which is nothing but some cult hotep bullshit. I like the hood rat Hebrew Israelite bullshit. I know the difference. Because Solon Black is the one that read me into the manosphere. So I'm very much aware of all of them don't think the same, and there's a lot of them that's on some bull fucking shit. So I know the difference between the ones Yeah, I saw that, and honestly, I don't even think like I didn't see it, but I heard it happen. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, what he does serves him. So that's not even what I'm talking about. But what I am saying is, y'all gotta have like these chicks do not define who the fuck you are. Now, if you all want better relationships as a mechanism for quality of life, then yes, you need to do what you need to do to enhance that. But part of that is what we've always said. And here's a funny thing, like Glenn and Cameron will say straight up, it's not even something he has to declare. Glenn and Cameron fucks with who he wants to fuck with. He fucks with who fucks with him. He's a very interesting guy because when it comes to these arguments, on the one hand, he can't stand Trump, but he's a capitalist, which is not a contradiction. I understand why that is. But on the other hand, he doesn't fuck with the Hotep shit, but at the same time, he's not going to be tolerating no MGTOW and red pill whining bullshit either. It goes without saying that he's gonna fuck with who fucks with who he wants to fuck with. So when it comes to females, he said straight up, he don't fuck with black women like that for the most part. Not because he can't get them, but because he don't want to deal with their bullshit. Cause they don't know how to. They don't know how to submit. Now this is a guy that makes money and does all this. It clearly has money and has game. But he said, and he can get them to comply. But he said the shit is too much. It's not worth the work. It's not worth the work based on what the prize is. This is a guy that has a black kid with a black woman that was married to a black woman. So the point is, he's a good example of somebody that has credibility on the money side and the game side. Somebody that didn't come from that had to build his way into both. But you know, he's just a good example of the guy that's really just looking at this stuff from a logical standpoint. And then when we look at it from the pro-black standpoint, you got people that, and look, I'm the main one. I believe in dating and having kids with another black person or to push, you know, your own legacy. That's my opinion. But at the same time, your greatest power, again, is your power of choice. And at the end of the day, it's time to stop engaging in these arguments. Like I was listening to Ren for like 10 fucking minutes and I couldn't even fucking stand that bullshit. Because Ren was, first of all, when she was asked an honest question about her having a different standard depending on the dude she wants, clearly we already know when it comes to the utility of dick versus money, good dick is a harder currency to come by. So a lot of y'all dudes that y'all need to work on your sex game. You know, you might want to get a passport and get those sessions in. But at the end of the day, we know for women in general, American women in general, sex is a much more valuable currency than money because money is something they can get on their own. Sex is not necessarily something they can get on their own. It is what it is. But at the same time, when you hear dudes that are trying to talk about dudes that ran through them or men just want to use women for sex, all this shit is designed to elicit guilt. At the end of the day, and it's been true for years, decades now. There is nothing that a woman does not fucking do that she does not fucking want to do it. Let's stop. If we can't agree on that, then there's no point talking. So anything that you 95% of shit that happens to women is something that they fucking engage in or they engage in to do a few degrees of separation. That's facts. So all this arguing, just trying to figure, because I do it. I do it a lot. I'm not gonna act like I don't. All this trying to break down their arguments. Sure, I'll have blogs and articles and stuff that'll map that out so dudes can come into that. But I'm not about to waste energy making the same videos over and over and over again about what females do, about female nature and all that. At the end of the day, these females are either full of shit or they're not full of shit. If you're full of shit, you can go in the full of shit box. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's none of that. It's that simple. And quite frankly, dudes have to learn how to have the discipline to basically saying, bitch, you full of shit, get the fuck out of my face. And let that pussy go. And that's where the work becomes on you. Because a lot of black men have, a lot of what these videos all have in common, all of them, is they have in common a poverty mentality when it comes to sexual access. Dudes really believe that pussy, and like even though pussy is out here free and shit, dudes really are walking around here with like act like this shit is like water and there's no access to it. And all these conversations are really rotated around that. And it's really from a poverty mentality. So what happens is bitches that really shouldn't even be beyond in the conversation of 1 to 2 degrees from it have value. I mean, even some females that get on here that's ugly as fuck. got value because they got a woman. They think they got value. Rather than saying, bitch, you an ugly bitch. What the fuck you talking for? Like, we know the niggas you talking about ain't got no options and shit like that. So anyway, I just wanted to say, look, listen to those videos. That's some tough love shit. That's some real shit. Listen to all of them. And yeah, that's the main thing I really wanted to put out there. Man, please, Renaissance Woman is full of shit. You know, she full of shit. And at the end of the day, quite frankly, that's some Cynthia G Light shit. And I'm fucking tired. Like, quite frankly, they're given power by us even fucking with them. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Like, we got the greatest power we got is to mute them motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, but I don't give a fuck about that because it's time to move. It's time to move on from that. I'm not saying that you don't mention the fuckery as the fuckery happens, but at the same time, this fucking, you know, noun or verb and what a bitch, what bitches are doing or what a bitch said, I don't give a fuck about that shit no more. These hoes already proven who they are. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So when you see, this is why when I get online, I ask them a couple of simple questions and they can't fucking answer that bitch. Because they're full of shit. And real talk, as long as you validate that shit by really engaging with it, because remember, they need us more than we need them. And that's something that a lot of y'all don't really believe, but I know that to be true. So anyway, with that being said, I just wanted to say shout out to y'all. What's up? You know, appreciate everybody that hit me up for my birthday. And there'll be some great stuff coming soon. So anyway, with that said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.